And hello, DC fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan. Once again, bringing you my thoughts and review for the brand new official new DCE Universe movie, Superman, starring David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, directed by James Gunn, President and CEO of DC Studios. That's right, DC's new train station is officially ready to go, and can it sustain popularity and success just like how Marvel and the MCU have done that in their own train? So, let's talk about it because I've been pretty excited for Superman, and I wanted to check it out. It looked pretty cool from what we got. So in this movie, we don't get the damn origin anymore. Thank goodness. Superman has been around for a while. He's fighting the good fight. He's an illegal alien doing his thing, trying to do good by the world. And you have Lex Luthor, who hates Superman. He thinks he's a menace to society, who wants to stop him from pretty much causing harm. Apparently, in this movie, Superman stopped the conflict from two countries going at war with each other, and that became a big no-no in America. And now that people are like, is that a good thing that he did that? Is that a bad thing he did that? And if you've seen the trailer, Superman doesn't care. He just wanted to save people. He didn't want people to die. And he just wanted to try to do good and be a good man. And that's exactly what we need in today's world today. We need a good guy just doing good things and not worrying about conflict all over the dang world. Just do good by the small little details that you have. All right. So I've seen this movie twice now. I got to see the early screening when you got your tickets from with Amazon Prime. So I got to see that, and I saw this movie yesterday as well. I liked it. This is a very good movie, people. Honestly, I was not expecting perfection. I was not expecting to be like, oh my God, this is the greatest Superman movie of all time. I wasn't expecting that. I still think Man of Steel is a fantastic film as well. Superman 2 is still my favorite Superman movie of all time, so there's that. But what I liked about this thing was the world building. We got to see a sneak peek of that. And, I like to use metaphors. For me, I'm a big train person. I like trains. So I like to use trains. So when they created the new DC universe with Creature Commandos, that was just a test drive of the new train. Because, when they build a new train, they got to test it out, see if it works. Otherwise, make sure they get all the mechanics ready to go. So that way when they launch it with public, to, where the people can ride it, it's safe and, it does really well, for the future. And that's what Creature Commandos was. And it gave us a bright, colorful world. And now we see Superman in the same boat. And I can just say, I love this new universe. You got, like, everything you can imagine in this world that, superheroes exist. You got giant kaiju monsters terrorizing the town or destroying cities. You have people on both sides. Either they like superheroes being there to help out the people, or they don't. You have those two sides. And I thought that stuff was great. And you have Superman, he's flawed. He acts like a human who's been on Earth for so long. He acts like a human, but he has all these godlike powers, and he's just trying to do good by the world, and trying to balance a daily job as Clark Kent, which we all know Clark Kent is the disguise, not the man. He's just a disguise, and balancing being the greatest hero of all time. He's also got other heroes out there that he may or may not, kind of function really well with. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't, and they're there too. And boy, oh boy, that stuff was all great. I love the colors in this movie. It wasn't like kind of dark and depressing as a Man of Steel or Batman v Superman. It was very fun. Not super colorful, not super over the top colorful like Marvel does sometimes, but colorful enough to be like, that was fun. So let's talk about David Cornsweet as Superman. I really enjoyed him. He actually kind of embodied what if Christopher Reeve was alive today, he was an actor acting right now today, that's who he would be playing right now. He will be Superman right now. If we didn't know who Christopher Reeve was back then, and he was just a guy, he was an actor today in today's world, he's David Cornsweet. He embodied what Superman, stands for, and it was just awesome to see it. He paid homage to, Christopher Reeve, who we all love and miss. You know, paying homage to him, but also making his own Superman. You know, yes, I know we have so many. You know, everybody still argues that they want, oh, they wanted Henry Cavill. Yeah, I wanted him to come back too. But the difference is that, you know, this is a new universe. You know, when we get a new James Bond, yeah, sure, sometimes the James Bond world is all the same, but the actor is different. We all end up loving that new actor who plays James Bond. Same thing with Batman. We get a new Batman. We just move on and we all love it, regardless if it's in a pocket universe by itself or it's going to be in a shared universe with other people. So there's that. And we just got to deal with it. But can the performance outdo the character? And yes, he brings it. And I thought he did things in here that not even Henry Cavill did. Very different power sets, obviously. I'm not going to compare who's a stronger Superman because they're all Superman in my book, so it doesn't really matter to me. But man, he did some cool Superman stuff that I haven't even seen on the big screen for years. So or since like cartoons. So that was great. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor gave me chills. I wanted to slap him out of his bald head. Okay, that guy needed to get beat in this movie. He was vicious. He was cruel. He was evil. He was, oh man, he was everything I wanted to see in Lex Luthor for years. My favorite Lex Luthor has always been Michael Rosenbaum in Smallville. But, you know, we never really got to see him be Lex to Superman. We seen him do to Clark, but not to Superman. And, you know, he was just great. And, of course, the late, great Gene Hackman, he's always going to be Lex, to me, in my opinion. But what Nicholas Hoult did in this movie was just so, not over-the-top evil, but just evil enough that Lex Luthor is that kind of that scumbag. He's got issues, okay? I've always said that Lex Luthor is the guy he's the rich guy. He could do anything. He's got the business, the technology. He wants to be the Superman to the world. Look at me, I'm Superman. Hey, there's a new flashy toy. But guys, I'm right here. I'm your hero. I'm the guy you're supposed to be looking up to for your weapons and protection and curing cancers or whatever. That's who he thinks he wants to be to the world. But when Superman gets involved, he gets psycho. I'm talking about like he wants to get rid of this guy. I'm watching this movie. I'm like, dude, take a chill pill for 5 seconds. He was just quick in every scene that he was in. It was just awesome to see that. And then you got the Justice Gang, as they call themselves. You have Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and of course Guy Gardner, as played by Nathan Fillion. Holy bananas, they were all great. Okay, they literally came out of the comic book. Like seriously, Guy Gardner, which, you know, honestly, he's not my favorite Green Lantern. My favorite Green Lantern is always gonna be John Stewart. I grew up with that guy, Justice League Unlimited, Justice League. I grew up with that John Stewart Green Lantern always. I'm more of a fan of him than Hal Jordan too. So I like Hal Jordan, but John Stewart is my favorite Green Lantern. Period. You know, he was awesome. You know, he was that kind of snarky guy who thinks he was all that, but you know, even deep down, you know, he's a team player, but he acts like he kind of wants to be a loner at the same time. But he's chill a little bit, but not chill also at the same time, and a little bit cold at certain points. And then there's Isabella Moss. I keep probably butcher her name. She's fantastic. She played Dora the Explorer in the live-action Dora movie, the first one, not the new one that just came out. She was great as Hawkgirl. My only complaint about this new Hawkgirl, and it's not in the trailer, it's not in the movie, so I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's not a spoiler. It's where her mace doesn't light up. Kind of wish it did, but maybe in the future movie it will. But still, she was fantastic. CG looked great too. I thought that's the Mr. Terrific in this. You know, I watched the Arrowverse. I love the Arrowverse, and Mr. Terrific was cool. He was like a level 2 compared to a level 20 in this movie. Mr. Terrific was like the man in this movie. Like literally, his power set, his technology. He might be smarter than Cyborg or, you know, second to Cyborg in the DC universe, but still, he was gold. Gold. I loved it. Fantastic. And the actor who plays him was great too. He did a really good job. A lot of great moments in here. You know, funny laughter stuff was great. The science stuff that he was doing, the technology that he has, the T spears, were all great. So I thought that stuff was great. Um, guys, Crypto the Superdog. Yeah, Crypto the Superdog is for real. Like if you're a dog guy, you're gonna be or a dog girl, you're gonna be like, my dog acts just like that. Except in this case, Crypto has like superpowers. And I'm gonna spoil one thing in here because it's not a spoiler because honestly, it's been publicized for since the movie got made that this character was gonna show up. So if you don't want to hear it, I'm gonna keep my hand up. If you don't want to hear it, it's only a quick scene. It's not much, not a big thing, but it gets me hyped up for the next DC thing. Supergirl shows up in this movie, and all I gotta say from just that one little shot we got of Supergirl, love the costume. Millie Eckhart, I think her name is. She's from Game of the House of Dragons. She's fantastic. I love her. She looks just like Supergirl, and I cannot wait to see her in her own movie next year. So I thought that one little clip of like, here's Supergirl, guys. She's showing up in the next. She's gonna do her own thing in the next movie. Get ready. She looked great. Perfect. So I'm excited to see what she's gonna do in her own thing. So there you go. There's a little spoiler that's over. Now the one character I was like, okay, how can they can either mess this character up or they can actually make this the best character throughout the entire movie. Lois Lane is Lois Lane in this movie. And I finally got to say that because I've been excited for Lois Lane being in this movie because to me, Lois Lane is the ultimate journalist in the DC universe. Okay? There is no, and I'm sorry for us Flash fans out there. I'm a Flash fan from the TV show. We don't have to hear we the Supermans, we don't have to hear nonsense like that like we got with Iris in the DCCW Flash. I'm looking at you, Iris. You know what you did. Still upset about that. But anyway, Rachel Brosnahan, I probably butchered her last name, apologize. She was fantastic as Lois Lane. She embodied what Lois Lane's supposed to be, the journalist, the one who asks the stupid hard questions, the one who's not afraid to get involved, get her hands dirty. She asks questions. There's this, if you guys know the trailer and seen the scene where she's asking Superman, oh, why did you go over there? Why didn't you ask the president? And he was just like, flabbergasted about all the questions she's asking, all the hard hitting. I'm like, that's Lois Lane. That's who she's supposed to be. Lois Lane's supposed to be that one journalist who's not afraid to do all that stuff and poke at you and do it. That's why everybody's throwing her out of windows and Superman has to save her every 5 seconds because everybody knows she's the most dangerous person on this planet, not counting Batman, but still. But man, she's fantastic. I thought Rachel did a really good job, and you also believe in her relationship with Superman in this movie and Clark as well. And I thought that was great. And there's not a lot of Clark in here, which I understand because honestly, we've seen the Clark Kent stuff already. And we're probably gonna get a lot of Clark Kent maybe in the next movie or in another movie. Who knows? But we'll see. Kind of like what they did with the Batman, where they focus a lot on Batman, not really Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne adaptation. Excuse me, probably butchered that. But yeah, I first of all, the Clark Kent that we got in here, really nice. I liked it. I want to see more, but we have to wait. We'll see. Ma and Pa Kent were great. Small roles, but still, I enjoyed it. Miss Tessmacher, who knew that was gonna be an awesome character as well. Jimmy freaking Olsen, like you ever think about watching Superman and like Jimmy Olsen? Really? You're gonna keep bringing this character, the dork who hangs around with Lois, taking pictures, and he's got a Superman watch. I mean, he doesn't have it in this movie, but that's who you think of, right? No, he's pretty much gold. Perry White was great too. Small role, but still great. Cat Grant looked great too. So there's that. What else? Metamorpho in this movie too was awesome. Like every character in this movie, no matter how big or small roles they had in here, were great. They didn't squeeze out a lot of screen time from other characters. He had enough. James Gunn put them in enough scenes that served the purpose of the story to make the story move forward. So I appreciate that. That was great. I like that. Like I said before, the world building that James Gunn has created for us in the DC universe. it really felt to me that he watched Superman the animated cartoon, the one that's tied to the Batman animated series, took that Superman, took it to live action, and hit play and hit action, and that's exactly what we got in this movie. This was just fabulous. We even got to see Ultraman. The Engineer was cool as a villain. That big gold robot guy, that was cool to see. The fight scenes in here were amazing. Yeah, you know what? I'm starting to I'm just excited to see what the DC universe is gonna give us now moving forward. When we first saw Iron Man, we were like, Iron Man looks cool. We loved it. It was great. Then we got Captain America. Oh, that was great. Then we went off world. We saw Thor or reverse it. You know what I mean? And then we were like, yeah, these are all cool. But then when they put them together, and then we saw that the world was growing, it's like, oh yeah, these guys can totally play in the same playground. I'm starting to feel it here in the new DC universe, where we got Superman, Green Lantern, we have Hawkgirl, we have Mr. Terrific, Kaiju monsters, Superman's robots, seeing the Fortress of Solitude, Crypto, the Superdog, Metamorpho. They already have mentions of metahumans in this movie. Lex Luthor being a psychopath that he is, and I was flawed about this movie, and it makes me very excited to see Supergirl. Obviously Peacemaker, because that's the next one. Green Lantern show. It makes me excited to see what the new DC universe is going to be shaped up to. It's kind of like when you play Grand Theft Auto. You get the small map first, and you got to expand it, and then when you really open the game up, you're like, all this colorful stuff fits in here really well. That's why I feel like this new DC universe is going to be. Like, James Gunn is giving us a small piece of the map, and now he's going to expand it with all the other beautiful characters. Wonder Woman, Batman, Atlantis, Themyscira, and all the, the Themyscirian Cyborg, and all the other characters. Maybe Martian Manhunter, in the future. The Flash, And I just cannot wait to see Supergirl's coming next year, so I cannot wait to see that. Lobo's coming as well. And the Lanterns TV show looks like it could be a true detective story, but with Green Lanterns, and I just cannot wait to see what this world's gonna do. Now, hopefully, it goes on in a good direction, but we'll see. We'll see. I think my only real negative about this film is that the story felt short in a long movie. You know what I mean? Like, the story was like, okay, Superman's here doing this, and now we're just going towards the end of the movie, and that's pretty much it. It wasn't much of a real story behind it of why. We don't get to see a lot of certain things that Superman did before, because there's kind of like a text thing in the opening that explained what he did. I'm not gonna say what he did, but there's a thing that explains it. Kind of wish we kind of saw that to be like, oh, so that's why Axe is mad at him, and for this reason or that. I wish we got something like that overall, but still. And also, as much as I love them and I like the actors who played them, we really didn't need Mom and Pa Ken here. In my opinion, nothing wrong with having Mom and Pa Ken. I'm glad they kept Pa Ken alive. So at least that, we never really had that except Superman the animated series. So there's that. But honestly, I wish we didn't need that. I wanted to see just more him and Lois, interacting together, even not him as Clark or him as Superman, and just being with each other. I kind of wish we had more of that, but still, it's only the first movie. I get it, but I have my little nitpicks here and there. But still, I freaking thought this movie was great. This movie's a lot of fun. Gets me excited for the future of DC. And also the healthiness of superhero movies in general. Now I'm really more excited for what, and hopefully gives me in Fantastic Four. Now, I know, 2 different companies, right? But still, a superhero movie is a superhero movie. If I had fun with this movie, maybe I'll even have more fun with Fantastic Four. I'm very excited for that, but we'll see how that turns out. But I don't have to worry about Superman anymore. I'm not nervous about it anymore because I enjoyed the heck out of it. I'm gonna go see it again on Sunday. This movie's just fun, and honestly, this is probably gonna be in my list of favorite Superman movies. I mean, it's not gonna be better than the Christopher Reeves or better than Man of Steel. They're all great in their own different ways, and you gotta watch it and just judge it for yourself. And yes, I hear there's a notion that people are getting upset the fact that Superman's an immigrant. He's always been that. People, you should know that. But anyway, I love that stuff. Just him, yeah. He's even said in the movie that he's an immigrant. He's just trying to be human and trying to be with the people, and that's how Superman's supposed to be. Superman's supposed to be that guy. Trying to be that guy who's just does one good deed and just tries to be a good person, just tries to help the world, even if it's making a better place by one person he saves. And yeah, still. And also, like, if I had to go to another negative, there were a couple of shots, not too many, a couple of shots that may or may not have been so great, and that's okay. It's just the first movie. Sometimes painters even make mistakes, but still, overall, so far, the grand opening of the new DC train station looking pretty good. Let's see how it continues. The Creature Commando testing was great. I'm not counting Penguin because Penguin's his Elseworld story, and that's the Batman universe, and that's already fantastic. And we're finally getting number 2 soon, so yes. But for this new DC universe, it gets me excited for the future of DC again. I'm like ecstatic that now I get to have a healthy DC, and if they ever make Blade and give us Blade, maybe a healthy Marvel. Right now, Marvel's a little crippled, and that's okay. We'll see how Fantastic Four turns it around, and I hope it does. But right now they're crippled. That's okay. They can come back from it. I've seen baseball teams make comebacks, so there's that possibility. So, and I just want the comic book genre to be great again. And hopefully one day we're gonna get a fix on our Star Wars problem. I'm not going to rant on that right now, but we'll see. But still, had a blast. Superman's fun. Go check it out for yourself. If you're a DC fan, you like Superman and what he stands for, this is for you. If you're not a DC fan, you still support the Snyder stuff, that's fine. But just don't diss on people who actually might like this movie, because honestly, they're all comic book films. We all should like them no matter what, because just comic book films are comic book films. If they make you happy, awesome. If you dig one set of comic book movies make you happy more than others, that's fine too, as long as you respect other people's opinions. And we can all live in a happy superhero world, in a world where everybody can be a Marvel fan and a DC fan. With no Star Trek. We're only Star Wars here. I'm just kidding. I love Star Trek too. Although I can't do the symbol. I don't know why. Anyway, still love, you know what I mean. I love both sides of everything. So let's just respect each other, watch the movie on our own accord, and if you like it, awesome. If you don't, that's fine too. But just be like, if your friends like it, cool, that's awesome. I hated it or whatever, just be peaceful, people. That's all Superman wants, peace. So yeah, there you go. There's my review for Superman. I might do a spoiler on certain scenes in here that made me think about what could be the future of DC. I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking about that, but we'll see. But man, I'm like I said, I'm excited. Also, there's 2 after credits. Just letting you know, nothing big, but just something cool to let you know. DC's got after credits now. Whoever thought we were gonna see that in our lifetime? We're so used to Marvel having them. Somehow, Fast and Furious has sometimes after credits. Star Wars still hasn't really had after credits since the first one. Phantom Menace, that's only one. That's only the DVD version. But yeah, whoever knew I was gonna say DC has an after credit. So, but let alone 2. So go check it out for yourself. Check it out. See what you guys think. So leave me a comment below. Let me know. Did you guys enjoy Superman? Not enjoy it? Thought it was kind of cheesy? You don't think this universe can work? Whatever it is, leave me a comment below. Let me know. Stay tuned for more. Thank you very much, and have a good night.